If you only spent time on your desktop version of your website, then you are leaving out more than half of your website visitors. Today, I'm going to talk about how to craft a mobile website version that captures those users just as well as your desktop version does. About 65% of website traffic is on mobile phones. But most websites are designed with the desktop in mind first and just patched together to make it work on mobile. This is a huge revenue leak on your website hiding in plain sight. The thing is, there's some really quick fixes that can make a very big impact, and I'm going to talk about some of those today. My name's Alli, and I help female service providers craft irresistible brands and websites that book their dream clients. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video for more content on websites, marketing, and branding. So recently I went to a website, and as I was scrolling through it, the headlines were cut off, things were bunched up in places, other places there were these big gaps. It didn't do a lot to really build this person's credibility. And then a pop-up came up that I couldn't close. I couldn't find the X to get out of it. So immediately I had no choice but to leave. I wish I could say that this is the first time this has happened, but this is actually a common occurrence. You could have people on your site right now that want to learn more about you, that are interested in your services, but because they're viewing your site on mobile phone, it's undermining their impression of you. The thing is that mobile experience is the new first impression, and users make a decision within 3 seconds. Creating your mobile site is not just about scrunching your desktop version down and creating a smaller version of it. You want to adapt your mobile version to make it easy for users to use and to understand what you do and make it a good experience. So here's some things that you can do to make that happen. Number 1, check the sizes of your buttons or other things that people might tap. People are using their fingers, which are a lot bigger than a mouse. So you want to make the buttons big enough for a thumb tap, or make sure things aren't too close together if they're trying to get between two things so that they misclick something. Number 2 is to increase the text size on your mobile version. Because mobile phones are smaller, naturally the text size is going to translate that way too. So bump up all of the sizes of your text so that people aren't squinting or straining to read what you're trying to say. Number 3 is to compress your images. This is where you take a large photo that's like 4 megabytes and you compress it down to a smaller size. There's lots of tools out there to help you do this so that you can compress photos without losing the quality. The thing is, mobile phones are not as powerful as desktop computers, so they're not going to load as fast. If you've got a bunch of huge photos, then there's going to be a bunch of blank spaces and slow loading stuff on your site. And so people will lose interest. Any photos that you upload on your site should be compressed, even for the desktop version, but you want to especially put some attention into this when it comes to your mobile site. Number 4 is to eliminate what's called stacked padding. Often what happens when you're designing your desktop version is when it translates over to the mobile version, it leaves these huge gaps in between content. So then you're sitting there endlessly scrolling through these weird blank spots. So you want to make sure you go into your mobile site and tighten those spaces up. You still want to leave some white space, but just make sure that it's not these awkward long blank sections. Number 5 is to fix overlapping elements. Again, this is just something that happens on desktop when it's being translated to the mobile phone, is that things get stacked up. Maybe a button is over the top of your text, maybe a headline's over the top of a paragraph. So go through and spread things back out again. And remember that mobile phones are all kinds of different sizes, so you kind of have to account for that in your spacing. Number 6 is to create thumb-friendly navigation. So most people are going to be using their thumbs as they scroll through, and a lot of people are right-handed. So keep that in mind as you're placing really key items like your hamburger menu or different key actions on your site. You want to make sure it's easy for them to reach with their thumbs and click that button. Number 7 is to reduce clutter above the fold. So when you bring a site from a horizontal orientation down to more the vertical orientation of a mobile phone, it's going to make things just much longer. You're going to have to scroll through a lot more to get to the point. So pare things down, bring it back together so just the key points are there. It's easy to absorb. You don't need to have these big long sections that you maybe have on your desktop. Number 8 is to prioritize loading speed on mobile phone. Again, mobile phones just don't have the same power as a desktop computer. So make sure you keep things snappy by maybe minimizing all of the heavy things that you have on your site or fancy animations. If you can pare things down a little bit on your mobile site, that's just going to help it load that much faster. Number 9 is to remove your pop-ups entirely on mobile site. If you use a pop-up on desktop, that's fine as long as it's easy to close. But on mobile, just get rid of it entirely. Most of the time, they just hurt conversions, and actually Google penalizes sites with mobile pop-ups. You do not want to take the chance that someone can't close your pop-up on a mobile phone because that's instantly going to disable them from being able to use your site at all. They can be really frustrating for users, so get rid of them and just eliminate that possibility at all. You're not going to get enough conversions to make up for the frustrations that you are bringing on by having that cover the entire screen. So mobile phone visits dominate website traffic at this point in time, and I think that trend is just going to continue. People are doing more and more on their mobile phones, living on them, doing business on them, all of those things. So make sure that your mobile website version is something that you're putting a little bit of time and attention into. Small tweaks can make a big difference in your revenue. It can plug holes that you didn't even know are there. Make sure when you make any sort of changes to your desktop version that you're flipping over to your mobile phone and making some adjustments there. And don't forget, anytime you make any edits, to go in and test. Consistent testing is a non-negotiable in this day and age. If you're interested in having some expert eyes on your site, check the link in the description for one of my free website audits. I'll take a look at your site and give you some pointers on how you can improve and increase the conversions on your website. Now that you have your mobile site optimized, it's time to take a look at your About page. This is a page on your site that is the most visited aside from your homepage. I talk about some things that you need to have on your About page in this video, and also one thing that you don't want to have there. If you want your About page to help build your trust and authority, make sure you watch that video. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next video.